All right, heading over to this other lake. I don't know, this has been kind of fun for me. The fish were biting on that side. I probably would have worked that weed line with a jig. But you know what? We got another lake to fish. Very hopeful as I'm heading into this next lake. I thought I would get one or two on the lake behind me here and then kind of fill out the limit on this lake. But we have a chance to get another limit on the lake all by itself. Good morning, everybody. Mike from FisherMN here. Yes, I'm already fishing because if you saw last week's video, I'm finishing up on that lake. And you know what? We got our first one on this lake. Well, there we go. Interrupt our introduction time here. We got a bass. Well, that's going to be the quickest fish caught in the whole series, I bet. All right. Little issue getting the hook out, but we got it. What are we starting out with? 14-incher. 14-incher on this next lake. Our starting time and first fish time is 9:14. If you remember on the last lake, I had until 9:11 to call a fish out. But here we are back with a new limit. We got 14-inch fish. All right, well, here we go, back at it. Like I was saying before I was interrupted, doing our winter challenge here. I'm gonna take 3 days out of my summer and fish different regions of lakes I know and lakes that are new to me and see if I can get a 5-fish limit on each lake. Fish have to be at least 12 inches long. I think that might be a tournament standard. It's either 12 or 14. I'll make it 12 just to kind of keep things moving with this. Once we get our limit, I can choose to do a half an hour of cull fishing. Some lakes, maybe if it's been a grind, I might not want to do that. But the last lake I sure did because it's got some big ones in it. And this one I probably would too. Just want to get the limit first. So you know what? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Last week I was using the Evo Black and Blue 3/8 ounce bladed jig with the Black and Blue Fleck Power stinger off the back. And you know what? We're going to start out with that today. We got a couple of gaps here that I like to fish. We got a shore I like to fish. And then a reed island. Let's hope we can get some giants in the boat. I already have one to the limit, which is always nice. Let's give this a shot. I like to... It's been a while since I got a monster off one of these. But every year it seems like I get a big fish off of these isolated lily pads. I will say the weeds that are here are healthier than the last time I came. All right, we're going to go across the gap here. See if we can pick up a fish or two. Go down a favorite shore. Fish the other gap. Fish the reed island. And hopefully at some point during all that, we'll be culling out fish. Just a couple, just to see. Fish on. All right. Sling it in. I think we got our second one. All right, what do we got? 13 1/4. Second to the limit. Nice to see that there might be some fish working on this shore. It hasn't been very good this summer. Alright, back to bladed jig. Tried with the frog. Bladed jig is a great way to cover some water. Alright, a favorite shore. We got one keeper on a frog. Back to the bladed jig, coming up on this channel. It's kind of nice that there's a little bit of wind blowing. That usually helps things a little bit. Alright, we'll take a shortcut across here. Alright, we got our reed island in front of us. I think I'm going to go right to the side that I usually do the bladed jig. Man, wouldn't it be fun if there was a couple hanging out in that stuff? I think our frog will show us if there is. Just lob it up there. Plop. Alright. Frog's away. Back to bladed jig. Alright, fish, show me you can be out here. Kind of a new part of the lake. Fished it in the fall, but never in the summer. Alright, this lake's feeling kind of like more of a grind to get our limit. Alright, it's 10:20. We got 2 fish in the boat, 2 small keepers. Tried most of our usual spots. In the fall, this area was going crazy. I don't know if the fish were chasing bait fish or what, but in the summertime I don't usually fish it because there's no deep water. There's no deep hole in this section of the lake. Yeah, it's just a big 5-foot kind of flat. So when the fish are in here, it's really good. But I think it's more of a fall thing. We'll throw a few casts though and find out. Alright, we're going to go back down this side of the reed island. Sometimes the cast angle makes a difference. We usually get them coming down this way. And we'll also do a few out deeper too, just to kind of check and see if there's anything hanging around here. Still confident in this black and blue. Just think it's a good color with the water clarity being so tough. The later in the day lakes are kind of at a disadvantage because you don't have that morning bite. Alright, we're going to take a little of what we learned in Grand Rapids and put it into action. Slowly dragging these lily pads. See if we can find that shallow weed line with this wind blowing in on it. I think it could be good. Nice green weeds. All right, another corner of the lake. Trying a Pit Boss black and blue fleck trailer on a 3/8 ounce black and blue jig. All right, new battery. Same positive attitude. It's been a little while since we got a fish. Let's get back on the board. Coming up on the channel. Let's get back on the board. McDonald's drive-through theory is in effect, and that is, the theory is there's always something eating. Even in the middle of the day on the lake, even at 3 a.m. in a McDonald's drive-through. So let's get our drive-through fish. Actually, let's get 3 of them. There we go, fish on. What do we got? It's pulling us, whatever it is. The northern has visited. He does not count towards our limit, but nice to get something pulling and in the boat. And the northerns on this lake are nice and chunky. There we go. Nice to get back on the board with the fish. I was kind of surprised I hadn't caught a northern yet today. That was good news on the other lake because we got our limit pretty quickly. All right, let's see if there's some bass feeding in with that northern. Fish on. All right, it's a bass. I would be surprised if this one stretches. $11.5. Little guy. Future 20-incher. I have not come to this part of the lake since the first time I was at this lake. It's kind of a shallow area, but you know what? Maybe we can pick up a fish or two. All right, coming back on the channel. We have covered a lot of water on this lake. Hey, there's a fish. Sling it in. Oh, this one might measure. We've got 2 to the limit. Come on, 12, stretch. Oh. He's fresh. There we go. 13.25. 13.25-inch bass. All right. What time is it? Wow. It is 1:41. That has been hours since our last fish. All right, maybe we got something going here on this edge. We got 3 to our limit. Man, we were cruising through the morning. First 2 lakes done by like 9 o'clock. I knew that this could be kind of a grind. In fact, I was going to combine these 2 lakes, but you know what? Let's see if we can grind out a limit. I think we can count on the gap for 1. Hopefully more. All right, let's see if the electric shad can get us our last 2. Let's go. All right, coming up on my most hopeful spot. Got the wind whipping through here. Got some weeds up there. That's what we're looking for. There's the fish. What have we got? Looks like a bass. There we go, biggest one here. Biggest one of the day on this lake. Our 4th fish. There we go. Ooh, he's feisty. Custom chatterbait. Black and blue flag power stinger. There we go. Let's see what we've got. $16. Never been so happy to see a 16-inch bass. Good fish. All right, back it goes. The quest is on. Can we find one more? Maybe there's a couple working right on this corner here. I was thinking about the point, and that point is actually over there. So there may be some stuff getting blown onto this kind of mat area. So all the spots that I've tried, there's more than likely fish there. But the reason this spot's important is because they are probably eating if they're here. Because it's a point. I'm seeing tons of bait fish, like maybe sunfish or crappies. Fish on. That's a northern. Nice northern. Chunky guy. Oh. Well, guess what, everybody? I didn't have my camera on. Oh my goodness. Ah. And I caught a monster. 20-inch bass. Shore. Oh my goodness, what a fish. That's all right though, we got it. Look at that fish. There it is, our 5th to the limit, biggest of the day so far. Oh my goodness. Time to get some lunch. It's late. We're gonna put this guy back, and we are not gonna cull today. Whew, I can't believe my camera wasn't on. When did I turn my camera off? I don't even remember turning it off. Oh my gosh. At least we got a picture of it. I just kind of moved up a little bit through this black and blue custom chatterbait up onto where it gets the shallowest. And the idea is if there's a fish there, they're eating, they're not just hanging out. And that guy smashed it. How about this for a time though? 347. 347 for our 5th to measure. We started at 9:14. Oh my goodness. What a grind. McDonald's drive-through theory. There is always something eating. It might take a few hours. So technically I have till 4:17 to cull. But I think I'll just take a few casts. I don't think I'm gonna take the whole time. I need to go get some lunch. Whoofda. So I guess when I'm looking at what I would call a grind kind of day, you do whatever you can to get the fish in the boat. I started out coming out from the other lake. I got one right away while I was doing my intro. And then I had a plan. Go through the gap, go down a favorite shore, go to the other gap, hit the Reed Island. I figured by the time I hit the Reed Island, I'd have 3 or 4 fish in the boat. Well, I got 1 frog bass and nothing around the Reed Island. So at that point, it becomes a grind. I tried some new areas. I went all the way around this part of the lake down here. Nothing. Came to the point, I think I got a northern. Went to a new area of the lake. Nothing. A small bass here, a small bass there. And I was sitting at 4 bass for a long time before that giant finally hit. I apologize, I didn't have the camera on. Lost a little bit of focus here. But you know what? At least we got a good front shot of them. It was a nice fight. Thank you to the custom black and blue chatterbait and the black and blue flag power stinger off the back. All right, let's head in.